Just to ask, if this was the legal framework in place in 2003, could the Irish government, if it wanted to and it had the support of a majority in the Dáil, have sent troops to Iraq?
It would apply to any mission. Not necessarily Iraq is the focus.
No, I'm asking, could they have sent troops to Iraq?
If they so wanted to, if they so proposed to, if they were
meet
happy with the legal framework, if they were happy with the rules of engagement. So it's not just because they can do it, they would do it. There's lots of other factors around that,
And for me, I don't want a future government to be able to send Irish troops abroad in a coalition of the willing in an imperialist invasion of Iraq or Afghanistan or any other country. I think that's the reason lots of people will oppose it. Secondly, to follow up on the questions of Deputy Gibney, just can you confirm that under the current legal framework, even though a UN General Assembly resolution is not legally binding, it does satisfy our requirements for the triple lock?
It does, but how effective that is in practice is questionable.
Were you in the department in 2006 when the legislation was changed?
I was, but I wouldn't have been involved in it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Can you outline the rationale for that 2006 amendment? It was explicitly at the time. The arguments that are now being used to abolish the triple lock were used then to amend the Defence with the Defence Amendment Act. It explicitly was so that the UN General Assembly could be used because of the veto. It was dealing with the veto.
That's legally provided for, but the practice is very different. Unfortunately, we would have referred to this earlier. It was 1956, I think, was the last General Assembly when that was used, and different environment, and where you had the P5 on board. Okay. So the environment provided for it.
And maybe finally, just in relation to this point about the principles of the UN Charter, I do think that's significant. It means Article 2 rather than the UN Charter as a whole. You said earlier that that's because it's about peacekeeping. Are you saying that the UN Charter does not then cover anything? We're not bound by the UN Charter if we're sending troops for, quote, strengthening international security?
If we're sending troops to an international force, that part of the legislation, the principles of international law, and it's
not principles of international, it's principles of UN Charter. Sorry. Yeah,
both. Sorry. It would adhere to the principles of international law and the UN Charter. That they will be embedded in the legislation.
But just a reference.
The other circumstances where we deploy troops overseas is not. It is in different circumstances. It's not an international force.
Yes, but you earlier said it was there because it's about peacekeeping. But this provides for sending troops abroad, not on peacekeeping missions, on international security missions.
Yeah, and again, I would have spoken that sometimes the term peacekeeping is a generic term that covers a lot of peace support operations that our military undertake.
Thank you.